Hi everybody, this is Janet Wright, and the topic of this informational video is about self-punishment angels. And I know that sounds sort of like an ironic, thing, because angels, are altruistic beings that, are divine, and they look after you and help you. And obviously they want the best for you always. They try to guide you and help you, and you just have to focus on being open to that, the guidance and support and healing from your angels. Not just any old beings, but definitely angels. They're sort of obviously really altruistic. But self-punishment angels is a specific class of angels that serve an important purpose. Basically, like, say in a past life of yours, you could have it happen in this life, but if you did a lot of that in this life, you probably wouldn't be light enough to watch this video. So we're probably talking about some past lives where you did this. So it's like something happened and you felt it was your fault, and you felt you should be punished for it. Like you felt so guilty or ashamed of some action that you felt you should have done, or something that you shouldn't have done that you did, and you just felt so much like, oh, I don't deserve to be happy, I should be punished, right? And so, your angels are looking out for you, and obviously they're going to try to talk you out of that. They're going to try to help you to, move through it, clear the guilt, clear the shame, clear the clear all that. They obviously want you to have ethics and consciousness and compassion, but the whole punishing yourself part doesn't help anybody. So, angels aren't really encouraging that at all. However, due to situations, maybe in a past life you were just convinced that something was really your fault. Some big tragedy was all your fault. And so what'll happen is angels will offer, because it's sort of like there's a crossroads, and there's two roads you could go down. You're already determined that you should suffer. You're not listening to your angels about how you could lighten up and, do positive self-healing and kind of clear it, and, repay the bad karma through good acts and, all that. You're not listening, so you're like, okay, I deserve to be punished and suffer. So then one road, you attract like dark, heavy energy to you, like self-destructive situations and, self-destructive energy that just kind of keeps you down. Obviously that's the least optimal road that you could choose. Your angels offer this other road. If you're so determined to punish yourself, that's where self-punishment angels come in, and they enter into a free will spiritual agreement with you to weigh you down and burden you, because you're so convinced that you must be weighed down and burdened because you don't deserve, as much happiness as you would otherwise have. And but because they're angels, they're not like into this. They don't want it to continue for lifetimes and lifetimes, And so as soon as you are in the energy and headspace to kind of get over it, they're like, oh, congratulations, good for you, let's end this punishment agreement, and bam, 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 you sign some spiritual papers on energy level and you're done punishing yourself, and the angels are like, yay, we're so proud of you. And the self-punishment angels, go back to heaven and do whatever. Right? So that's what a self-punishment angel is. It's sort of that when you're at that crossroads where you're so determined to suffer, it's sort of the least harmful option of the two, because these angels don't want you to continue it on and on and on. So when you're ready to get over it, they're like super into it. Whereas if you just attract sort of like, let's say, dark energy, like negative dark energy, maybe by being around certain untrustworthy people, or some sort of shady situations, and you just kind of self-destruct that way, that's obviously harder, because then that could take lifetimes to clear all that. It's harder. I mean, of course, if you meditate, you could still do it, but but the problem is you're way down so much, it really self-perpetuates. So anyway, what I did, the reason that I'm motivated to make this video, well, I've always wanted to make this video, but I did this group healing, a mini triplet group healing, it's my name for the group healings that I'm doing now. And it's a set of 3 healings. And so in the first healing, there was a lot of cool energy healing that I did with all the participants. For that healing, there were 38 people in 7 countries, including 4 kids. I love those little statistics. But anyway, so for the middle healing, the angels, this is what they wanted. This is what they told me to do for this healing is, I mean, there were some other things, but then this was a big part of the healing, to help everybody on a subconscious spirit level to release 2 different agreements that they had that were like this: self-punishment, past life self-punishment agreements, where they had self-punishment angels, and they could just melt off the punishment devices. And in this example that the angels told me to do, it was sort of like a classic way that people burden themselves, and it would be like very beginner friendly, because I have worked with maybe between 2 dozen and 3 dozen people one-on-one doing this kind of work, clearing self-punishment angels and self-punishment burdening agreements, but maybe only a handful of these participants, who by this time it was 44 participants, only a handful of them I'd ever done that with. So it was new to them. So the angels wanted to pick the most beginner friendly examples to start with. So we did agreements where you're kind of burdening your energy, wrist and or arms. So like it's as if you have handcuffs on, of like the burden that you took on. You're like sort of shackling yourself and at the wrists to punish yourself from whatever past life thing that you feel so bad about. So that was the first thing. It was an arm thing, so some kind of burden around the spirit arms of people, either their whole arm and their wrists, which some people said looked kind of like these ornate tattoos, but like really heavy and negative. And it was sort of like a heavy metal device on a spirit level that was around the sleeve and the wrists, but some people it was just like around the wrist and maybe a little up, And so anyway, it was just like they tended to be pretty ornate, but cool looking. But obviously if you're burdening yourself with punishment, it's not actually cool. But anyway, so that release first, I walked everyone through, like admitting that, okay, they've really punished themselves enough, and punishing doesn't actually undo what was done, and it's okay, they can let go of that, self-punishment, and then they can say hi to those self-punishment angels and end the agreement, and tell the angel, okay, I am done punishing myself for what I did or didn't do in that life. And so they all did that, and that one cleared. And then we did one around the legs and ankles. And again, that was angel suggestion, just because it was nice and beginner friendly for people. So ankles, it's like, it looks like little shackles around the ankles. And legs, it looked like, like a big, thick, sort of metal, heavy, like a leg brace, if you have your whole leg in a cast, that kind of thing. Some people had it just as high as the knees, and it was like a knee, lower leg cast and ankles. Some people just had like thick ankle sort of bindings. But again, it was the same idea. It was just some lifetime where they felt they should be punished, and thankfully they chose the less damaging of the 2 options, and chose self-punishment angels. And so I walked everyone through just melting away the self-punishment heavy devices that they had on their energy legs and ankles. And again, it's not like, it's possible that people have more, which is why I'm making this whole video series, even for the participants, because if the participant is motivated and already has some meditation skills from doing my videos, then, they could use this video to inform themselves, and then the part 2 video right after this one, which I'll link at the end, to walk themselves through, getting rid of another device like that that's around their ankles or their legs. I mean, these burdens from past lives can be even just big, thick energy blocks in a certain aura layer. Like your aura is the energy field all around you, right? And mine goes this high. I'm sitting on the ground, that's why. So it could be like anywhere really. It's just the beginner friendly examples, and they're pretty common. Were around the wrists and the ankles and the legs and the arms.